Well, good evening and welcome back to another Quarantine Cast with Brian, Cody, and Craig. I, of course, Brian Noonan. That's Craig Collins. And, we started without him. We started without Cody because he had no comprehension of time. Hi, Craig. How are you?
I'm literally right here.
Yeah, he's there.
I'm sorry, Cody. Craig is saying hello now. You just have to wait your turn. You have to wait your turn because it is the
Brian. Here. Yeah, it is the Brian, Cody, and Craig. So I could.
Well, then Cody should have been here to start.
I'm literally here.
Hold on. I'm tremendously excited about something. Cody, are you still unaware of anything political that's going on, or have
literally,
you?
Yeah, literally no idea. Hold on, let me get these earbuds in. They got tangled, and then
I am so excited that Brian and I get to tell you political results
First
here on
of
the
all,
show.
I find it hard to believe that any adult in this country has no idea about what's going on. To me, that I'm going to say it smacks of privilege. If you can, if you can divorce yourself of any knowledge of what's going on, I'm not saying you have to be completely invested and hang on every word, but to go, I don't even care enough to know what's going on.
I don't know. I think it's his dedication to this program that made for a great. Yeah, it's the same reason that you go to Six Bennies so you can tell a story on the show.
Yeah,
I think it's I think he wanted to garden today.
Maybe.
I think he's still in his paternity leave mindset where he doesn't really have to. Doesn't have to work too hard.
I did want to garden today.
Studio.
By the way, hello to Janice, to Cindy, to Janine, to I think Janice again, who said hi to Cindy. That's nice. They're saying hi to each other. To Jim.
It is nice. I'm glad everybody can say hi to each other. One of these days we'll actually be able to say hello to Cody.
Yeah, there you go.
Now we're just now he's going to. Wow, he's about to. What is it? Tuberman. He's about to.
I don't know what he's doing.
I hope that shirt doesn't ride up. That's all.
My volume is really high in the air.
Sure. Your what is really high in the air?
My volume.
Yeah, no, you seem loud. No. Cody does. I think his mic's turned up a lot.
I know. Don't forget, you can call us 312-870-0023. 312-870-0023. Hi, Cody.
Hi, Brian.
How's the baby?
I was here. Baby's great.
Well, listen, when you were on paternity leave, we start on time.
We did.
That's fine. That is fine. I was throwing away between $200 and $300 worth of food.
Why?
Because we have pantry moths.
No, I don't care. None of that. I care.
Wait a minute.
He's wearing 2 sets of headphones. I need to know why he's doing that. That makes no sense.
Because I don't have like a pass-through thing for my board or whatever. Yeah, I'm also getting a weird ringing. I'm just gonna stop. I'm just gonna stop these right now. Look, my thing is a work in progress. My whole closet set up. I had a curtain here last week. That's gone.
You did.
I'm getting that replaced. I had a hellish Menard strip for lumber today because I'm going to be building acoustic bass traps behind me. That didn't work out. Oh man, it's been a day.
Wow.
But it hasn't been. It wasn't a. It was a day, but it wasn't a night because I had no stress last night. Because
you didn't pay any attention. You didn't turn on. I know you don't turn on the news, the fake news media.
Yeah,
but you didn't go on Twitter or social media. You didn't happen to walk by a newspaper stand. Do they even have those anymore? I'm watching the Truman Returns. Maybe that's the problem.
They do in New York City. They don't where Cody is. I imagine have many.
Brian, you have the right microphone selected.
What's that?
Yeah, I think you're on your computer mic too. Actually, Brian.
On a computer mic. Yeah.
Technology show. That's what we do.
Hey, man, hey, dude, if that's the technical difficulty we're dealing with, then I think
we're fine.
We're ahead. We're
killing it.
Way ahead.
That was about to be much better, Brian.
Be better.
Now we don't hear you at all.
Oh, that's so good.
Yeah.
You sound like a professional broadcaster now.
He came in and out. Now, some of it's not you. Some of it, can you hear him the whole time, Cody?
No, this is me. This is my.
Yeah, that's it.
There we go.
This is the one.
Yeah.
This is where Daddy broadcasts. This is how we do it.
It's getting weird. Okay. I can't.
All right, Craig is itching.
No, hang on. I gotta explain the full context here. I have no idea what happened yesterday.
Okay.
I don't know who won any states. I don't know if the Senate was flipped. I don't know who won any local election. Here's what I did yesterday. I played a video game called Celeste, and I drank a beer, and then I smoked a lot of CBD and watched Star Trek. And then today I woke up, I watched my little baby from 4 a.m. to like 2, and played video games the entire time. Took a trip to Menards, listened to Spotify the whole time. Came back, had dinner, cleaned out $300 worth of, threw away everything in my pantry because we have pantry moths.
Yeah, we'll get to the moths after. I got to hear about that.
And now we're here. I have not gone on social media. I've not checked text messages. I've not opened any websites.
Was this a conscious decision on your part to wait until you got here? Or if we weren't doing this, would you have gone on, who knows, maybe till January 20th? And you're, I think there's inauguration today. Or would you have even known that was happening?
Half of it. I think that almost anyone reporting on it is just going to do it like a horse race. So I didn't trust. First of all, I don't get caught up on it. Like it's dumb. Like people vote and then you count them and then tell us what it is. It's not a horse race. It's not like someone's pulling ahead. Look, Biden's pulling ahead in Michigan with 3% reporting. Like that is vapid and awful. Like that is the worst, most like dumb waste of time. Like I was like, it is anti-entertainment to me. Like it hurts to even think about participating in that kind of garbage. And so that was half of it. And this morning I was like kind of tempted to check to see who the president's going to be. But then I was like, you know what? We got 8 hours to the quarantine cast, or 12. So I just figured I'd wait. So you, viewer, get to see my live reaction to whatever happened yesterday.
We don't deserve the privilege, but we've been given the privilege of telling Cody what happened.
So Craig, I'm guessing you were watching at home with your lovely wife?
We started at 6 to respond to everything Cody just said. We had popcorn made, and we did the entire thing from start to finish. I think we even watched like some pregame stuff. If there had been a red carpet, I would have watched that.
Wow.
It was an excellent night of TV watching, and yet the surprise of all of it is, are you going to do it, Noonan, or am I?
Well, let's set the stage. So I'll set my stage too. Well, let's build it up. It's called, we're building suspense.
It's fine.
You have somewhere to be at 8:40. He's in a big hurry, Cody.
I just wanted to know who's going to do it.
He's so jacked.
I am so jacked.
But so on Monday, Debbie said, tomorrow's Taco Tuesday. For the election, we're getting tacos and making margaritas. All right. So we started with the network news with the David Muir, but yesterday it was the pre-election. It was a pre-game, so we watched a little of that, and then it started, and then we were done with dinner and had a couple margaritas, and I thought, let's take a little break. So we took a break, and we watched, I forget what we watched, something that we had recorded. Then we jumped back in, and that was how it went for the night. We actually would watch and get revved up, and then we watched Fear the Walking Dead because, that seemed fitting with what the world is going through today, because not surprising, we're still talking about COVID on November 4th.
We are.
But so we did that, and then I did stay up. Debbie was like, I'm going to bed. I stress baked chocolate chip cookies because at one point I was like, I can't take this anymore. I need a cookie. I went in and I made some cookies. I had about 4 giant margaritas, and then finally I went to bed at about 1:00, just before and I'm watching it. I'm trying to stay awake. It's Cecilia Vega on ABC, who's easy on the eyes.
She is.
She's a wonderful reporter, a professional woman, but easy on the eyes.
Right.
I feel we have to say all of those things.
No, yes, several valuable qualities to the human being.
Lot of great qualities.
One happens to be that when I'm looking at her, I'm not mad at all.
Sure. I'm not upset. I'd rather have her talking to me than a lot of people. Anyway, they're like, the president might be coming out. He's coming out. Next thing I know, I woke up and it was like 3:00 and everything they were still,
Okay. The 1:00 press
scene,
conference,
Cody.
the 1 a.m. press conference is one of my favorite things that's ever, I loved it. I loved every second of it. I watched it on my cell phone with an earbud in because Betty had gone to bed at that point and made me get into bed with her. So I was on Twitter watching, I think, ABC's coverage when the president spoke.
Yeah.
But we got to say it. We got to say it, Noonan.
I haven't given my prediction yet.
Okay, go ahead.
What's your prediction?
I heard fireworks going off all over the place at like midnight-ish.
Sure.
So I want to say somebody claimed that they won at midnight.
No, inaccurate.
No, at
No.
1:30 a.m. Central Time, someone claimed that they won it.
Okay. We just can't. We have to.
Also,
Cody,
yeah,
we don't know. Cody, the thing
There's
is,
no winner. There is
know.
not a
Not
winner
surprised.
yet.
not surprised.
we
Hey,
don't know.
guess what? This is part of the reason why I didn't watch.
Okay.
Also, because I knew you come on, you knew this wasn't gonna happen. So that's where we're at. No, we just don't know.
Well, the overwhelming likelihood of Biden winning is out there. He is surprisingly going to take states that they didn't exactly project him to take, states like Arizona and Nevada. He is not going to do as well in some states that they might have thought he would do well in, although it does look like he's pulling ahead in places like Michigan, too. Technically, right now, so many are so close to call, though, Cody, and there's so many ballots to be counted and so many legal fights to be had that, unfortunately, we are probably days and or weeks away from an official winner, but the overwhelming likelihood of Biden winning is out there.
Well, that's because they voted a lot of these states with which they've already said Michigan or Wisconsin Biden won.
They
He
did,
won
although
by,
ABC
he won
News,
by
have
the
they-
same he won by the same amount that Trump won it last time.
Correct.
So Trump has already called for a recount, which according to Wisconsin law, if you are within a percentage point, you can call for recall, but the candidate has to pay for it, and they have to pay for it in advance.
Well, and they're
So
used to
we will
close
see.
elections. So the last time that this happened, actually, there was a recount before. It
Right.
amounted in like 100 additional votes.
100 votes.
The substantial difference between the two is much higher than that. So, what I'm looking at from the New York Times, it's 253 to 214 for electoral college votes. Still not officially confirmed, including Arizona, which is weird because a lot of other people have done that. Nevada, Arizona, Alaska, Georgia, North Carolina, Pennsylvania.
This is what I'm saying, Craig. Because it's weird to call. It's almost like the media is just trying to get ahead.
No, Cody, last night they did do it a little bit. Last night was different. They weren't calling any states. They weren't saying we've called it for this until, they had the percentages of votes that were in across the state. They weren't making the call in any state where, like, they didn't call Florida till way after Florida was done.
Well, the same is true for Arizona right now. The likelihood of Biden winning in Arizona is almost 100%, and yet not calling it is just assuming that the place in which there's votes missing somehow would be much redder than it would actually be.
Yeah,
Nevada is fairly similar too, and with both
every
of those
place
states,
is even Georgia now, the votes that are because here's the thing: this time there was a historic mail-in vote, right? There hasn't been. There were as many people mailed in their votes this time as voted last time, basically.
I'm so excited we're telling Cody all this for the first time.
So
because everyone listening or watching is like, yes, we know. We've heard.
It's like we're telling somebody from another country what's going on. Like Cody just got off a boat, which we know is impossible because nobody can come into this country and we can't go into any other country.
And I do like the fact that Cody's hair has much more volume to it this evening.
You did puff it up tonight. Thank you.
Two things, though, that were my biggest takeaways from election night. You're right. My two biggest things is that both presidential candidates got more votes than ever. They both had a more significant turnout than any presidential election in our history. Trump got more votes than he got when he won. So that in and of itself is significant. The second one is that the poll numbers are trash.
Oh yeah, if you're a pollster today, aren't you getting your resume ready? Aren't you trying to find some other line of work?
Trash. No, total. Right. Yes, absolutely. But you were going to question my first point. Total actual votes. It's the biggest turnout ever.
I heard that for Joe Biden.
For both.
Was it for both?
I believe, unless I'm going to have to double check my notes here, but I think that Trump outperformed his own numbers.
Tell him to give you
Trump 2016. I'm going to look it up.
Well, he might have he got more than he got last time, but that doesn't mean he's gotten more than in the history of.
This is the highest turnout of any election in the history of our country.
You know what it says to me? That we're going to keep this.
Okay. I know what Noonan's saying now. Like Reagan, when he won every single state, are you saying that that could be different? Yes.
So I think this means we're going to be doing mail-in voting for all these, because it seems there hasn't been any, despite what the lawsuits are going to say coming up to challenge a couple states, there were no big reports of any irregularities or problems anywhere in the country.
Mm-hmm.
Little things here and there that happen with any election. But the fact that what they're going to have to do is look at some of these states that are not allowed to open their mail-in ballots till the polls open and go, if we're getting in a couple million ballots, we need to start counting them maybe when the polls open. So we have people counting all day, and then, but we all knew this wasn't going to be called last night.
No, absolutely.
And yet I was the most impatient guy on the planet.
That is the other thing that plays into it is, I mean, besides me, just hating on the whole process is the knowledge, right. I kind of figured going in, I'm like, and I even tweeted this yesterday. You can go look at my Twitter timeline. It's like, I tweeted and I was like, I'm not going to watch tonight because the only thing that's going to happen is people are going to argue about when we should stop counting votes. Mm-hmm. And it sounds like that's true. So I'm kind of proven right because I didn't miss anything, right? I'm like, well, I didn't pay attention.
You didn't really miss. You didn't miss anything because today the argument is, which is an argument that I don't think we should be having. Should we stop counting votes?
Okay, I can respond to that in a second.
Oh, I know. I had a feeling.
I want to take a second. Donald Trump won the 2016 election. This is news to no one with 62 million total votes. Hillary had 65 million. Right now, without all the votes being counted, Joe Biden has 71 million plus, almost 72, and Donald Trump has almost 68.5 million votes. Both of them have well outperformed the voting totals. And even when I look back on other elections, I can't seem to find, other than Obama, who previously had set the record for most votes for any presidential candidate with 69 million, 69.4. 69.4. I can't see any version where anyone outdid it. So both of these candidates will wind up being two of the most voted for candidates in the history of the presidential election. It's surreal, the craziness here. To the court stuff, Noonan, real quick. And I know this isn't a political show. We're not.
No,
it
is not. But I know you cannot. You cannot. You're a creature of habit. You cannot stop yourself.
Hold on. So, Cody, President Trump doesn't like losing. He is going to challenge pretty much any election he can. People have been on television saying they don't really know. Yeah, I know you're shocked. People have been on television saying they don't really know what legal precedent he's going to use for the court cases.
Although I'm not getting enough votes precedent.
Well, I think in Michigan, they're saying that there's some people that would be able to watch the poll, watch the voting as it happens, and they're not being allowed in.
They're saying we're letting those people in.
They are now.
The messed up thing with Michigan is that in Michigan, your vote only counts for half, depending on if you live in the Mitten or in the Upper Peninsula.
Right. The thumb people don't get to vote at all.
I love it.
And the Upper Peninsula people, every other person gets to vote.
If you can make it,
and they don't tell you who you are until you get there. And then somebody like in gym class walks down the line and goes, vote, no vote, vote, no vote, vote, no vote. And no votes have to go home and, make fudge.
Here's the thing,
that's all they do in the
UP. The really tricky thing is that they have enough polling stations, but they don't have roads. There's just wilderness for half the state. So you got to walk.
I will tell you, though, the Upper Peninsula is gorgeous. What are we drinking tonight, boys? Craig is getting so frustrated because he wants to do a deep dive into the court cases and why.
I want to say one thing. It's one thing. And I'm drinking energy drinks and no alcohol yet. That's my evening.
One thing.
I'm ready to lock in. I'm going to watch elections all night after this. I'm just going to stay up. I haven't slept in 2 days. No, I'm kidding.
The election's over. They're just counting now.
No, I don't care.
Even my mom, who's a political junkie, just said in the chat that even she ended up watching the Hallmark Channel last night. I'm telling you, I'm glad you were entertained.
What is the thing you want to say? What is the thing you want to say about the court cases?
If you are someone that hates the current president and someone that's absolutely a fan of Joe Biden, or if you're the opposite, why don't you want it? Why wouldn't a court case and proof that everything is legitimate? Not saying that I think it's even remotely close to being illegitimate. I have no reason to believe that the U.S. elections have any version of fraud within them. Why not?
Hypothetical.
Okay, then I agree with that. But if we're all clamoring to get it done, and you can't prove, or they don't even have any concrete suspicions. They're not even saying, we got a report out of this precinct or this county that they found extra votes.
Still,
All right,
my reaction to anything you say is going to be, why not? If you own a company, you get frivolous lawsuits every so often where people.
Let me
just
ask
try
you
to
this then, Craig. Why
right,
isn't he asking for recounts in the states or telling them to stop counting the votes in the states where he's leading? Only the states where he's behind. Why is that? I wonder.
Stopping the vote is a different conversation. He is trying through the legal process to get people to stop counting votes. That's just not going to happen. Every state's like, we're not. There's no way. So I don't give a crap about if the vote gets stopped or not.
Well, that's what the lawsuits are about. The lawsuits are not about counting every ballot because they want to count every ballot.
They're attempting to delay the counting in order to have a process in place that they believe is fairer, that they get more information about the way in which it happened, the viewing of the polling places.
They're upset about the fact that laws have been in place in these states for a long time that says if your ballot is postmarked by Election Day, you have in Pennsylvania, they have 3 days after Election Day for those ballots to come in. They've already sequestered those ballots. And a lot of the states, these are not rules that the Democrats made up. These are in Republican-controlled states.
To be honest, I don't even think that after the election votes are going to matter. I think that Biden is going to have won this election without those votes. Anything that was postmarked and received by the day of the election is going to be significant enough. Yes, that's a very nice line in Kugels. But the only thing I want to say is, no matter what side of the aisle you're on this, going in a deep dive into the proving that it's all legitimate shouldn't matter. It should.
But why should we? We've never.
You only say
we
that
have faith. No, we have faith that these elections are legitimate, and the only time the only time we have seen this kind of chicanery was in 2000 with Bush and Gore, where they made them stop. They made them stop voting, and they basically took it.
All right, I will let us move away from the politics, but I will say just one more thing about it. Trump supporters are very likely to doubt this election because of the things. Of course they are. Hold on, because of the things the president has said. If you go through the legal process of proving it's a legitimate election, it may not still sway people's opinions, but it might also benefit. It can't.
It won't.
Just going through the process is not harmful. Anyone that says it is harmful, I think, is more reacting on an emotional level at a dislike of the guy doing it.
You want to do it? It's a waste of time if that's what it takes. But let's be honest, people will not change their mind.
I don't know. I think if you can factually prove it, though. So hold on. If they
There's been a lot that's been factually proven. They believe that the virus is done.
If you get all the way to the Supreme Court, which has now been loaded with Trump people, and
this is what I'm drinking because of the day.
The Supreme Court still says it's a legitimate election. You don't think that can help sway a Republican voter to believe that it's a legitimate election when they don't
believe science. They believe what he tells them. I'm drinking Darkest Before Dawn because I thought that was the most fitting beer for the state the country is in. Darkest Before Dawn.
See, I don't even agree with the science thing either. But let's move on.
You don't agree with science?
No, I do agree with science. I think that people who doubt the seriousness of the illness itself, COVID-19, I do think that hey, look, you can both react the way you want. I think that there is some science to back up, depending on your age and your level of health. And should you still allow yourself to get something that you could then pass on to someone who could die from it? No, you shouldn't. We should all be regular, humans who have empathy, who care for each other. But when you say the simple sentence, a conservative voter doesn't care about science, I don't think that's an accurate representation of what science they care about.
All right. Well,
can I say a controversial thing to take the heat off of you, Craig? Take the heat off of you.
Sure.
My mom's going to kill me for this, but I did actively discourage. I voted. Okay. I voted. Thank you very much.
You think?
People are asking in the chat, did you vote?
Yeah, I voted. However, I do know someone who, on election day, this person tried to vote early 3 times and kept getting handwritten letters back being like, well, you're not registered here. So then they write a letter and then they're like, well, let me register. Then they're like, okay, well, no, the mail-in registration deadline is over. And then they're like, okay, well, let me try this. So anyway, this person basically was trying to vote for 2 weeks. And then yesterday rolls around and they were like, I got to go to the polls. And I told them, don't go to the polls. And it's because that person went to a small gathering of 5 people a week ago. And at that small gathering, there was a person who has very much been exposed to someone with COVID-19 very recently. And I said, and I know what I know you're thinking in the chat. I know you're like, it's your civic duty to vote. I think it was your civic duty to vote early and vote safely. And on election day, if you haven't voted and there is a chance that you have COVID-19, it is your civic duty to stay home. So I was going to tweet about it, but I knew it would raise hell and all that stuff. I am not saying voting is not important, but I think that voting is not as important as trying to curb a little bit of the COVID-19 pandemic, especially on the day of a super spreader event, where going to a poll not only puts you at risk, but also, especially if you think you've been exposed, can put potentially hundreds of others at risk. So I made the hard call to tell somebody to not participate. But I do think that context
Did
matters.
that person listen to you?
They did. And I think the context matters. And, maybe it would have been different if it was a battleground state. But let's face it, Biden probably won Illinois, right?
Yeah.
He crushed. Are you sure? Because I wrote in Tulsi. I wrote in Tulsi Gabbard.
I can't believe Kanye didn't do better.
I really hope
Kanye got
Tulsi
smoked.
Gabbard. Dude, look up the record. Look up DuPage County write-in votes. You'll see a vote for Tulsi Gabbard.
Real quick, because it came out.
Is the true hero of this election.
Let's
be honest. Tulsi Gabbard,
Tulsi
dude.
Gabbard.
She's number one.
Why is she the hero of this
greatest
election?
candidate that there was. Are you kidding me? She was
my
better
goodness.
than Bernie. Oh, man.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
All right. Listen, all I know is there's not going to be, if Joe Biden does win and you're one of these people who are going to celebrate crazily, you're wrong. This is nothing, this one is too tight. There is definitely still a mandate about what's going on here. This country's horribly divided, and we are going to. There's too much work to be done to be celebrating. You give a fist pump, you give a woohoo, maybe give a hug to somebody if that's the way it went for you. And
one of my favorite pieces of coverage of the day of watching it was when someone asked, how divided is this country in comparison to previous years? And the expert said, I think we have been only this divided just before the Civil War. That's the only other time in the history of our country where we had two very opposite feelings. So it is very odd to see that, to see the polls.
I think Civil War may have been the most divided we've been.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Oh, that is what you said.
That's just before the Civil War.
Oh, just before. Okay.
When an election took place and actually Lincoln won in what apparently was a much more contested election than I was aware of. That may have catapulted us toward Civil War. That's the last time that this expert felt we were as divided as we are now.
I'm divided on I'm not a fan of the red Power Ranger. I'm a pink Power Ranger fan.
That's fine. She's better. Sally asked me why I bothered to vote. So I voted by mail, and I think many people should have.
I think she thought you were serious that you voted for Tulsi Gabbard.
Oh, well, that'll be my little secret, won't it? I'm not going to tell you who I voted for.
I know,
Come on.
I'm not asking you who you voted for.
Walter Whitman from the Walter Whitman part. What was that guy with the party named after him?
I don't know. Joe Jorgensen, the third party candidate, got a lot of votes in a lot of places. I'm like, who's Joe Jorgensen?
Right.
I thought it was a dude. She's a woman. Joe Jorgensen is a female.
Up there with Marianne Williamson.
Her, I know. She's a loon, but allegedly.
Allegedly a loon, or
allegedly a loon.
All right.
What else happened? I got pantry moths, and I had to throw away.
Oh, you lost
$300 worth of food.
Yes, but first you lost a. Last week, Craig, you'll remember this. Last week, Cody was making pronouncements that he was not allowing his wife to put his baby on social media. And then I open my Instagram. Who do I see? A little baby in a beautiful Halloween costume. Cute as a button, by the way. Cute as a button. I actually forwarded the picture you texted me to Molly so she could see too.
Oh, nice. I mean, it was too cute to not share. Like, his Halloween costume is really cute. But I'm trying to keep him off social, so I'm not gonna put it on Facebook. Sorry, folks.
Yeah,
but my wife put it on the gram, as they call it. She got a bunch of likes. It was very liked on the gram. Very nice.
Wow.
I don't know what's happening.
I bring the energy to the show, you guys. That's
Is
what
that
you.
what, you're bringing?
Yeah, that's what I'm bringing. Let's
Okay.
go, dude.
Borat references?
Yeah.
I know he's got a new movie out.
Hold on, the moth thing though. I'm actually very interested in that. In all honesty, I am, because we also are fighting the moths, and I don't know how to beat them.
Wait, hold on, Craig.
Where do you have moths? Why you have moths?
In one of our cabinet thing, I don't know. Betty's telling me there's like, and even the little worms. The worms are the baby moth, right?
What?
They they do little like baby worms. They're very gross.
Yeah.
And then you got to throw all the crap out. You got to kill them all. But I think there's some hole to like an inner part of the house we rent where like there must be a bunch more because we can't kill them, Cody. Good luck to you.
Oh, good Lord. How long have you had moths?
Pretty much the whole time we've lived here, which is just about a year.
Wait, hold on.
Wow.
They're the dumb moths who just kind of float around. They don't like quickly go to anything. They just kind of meander around annoyingly.
Yes.
Like that's
them. No, they're the worst. I read that it can take up to 6 months to fully get rid of them.
Okay.
If it's a full-blown infestation and like, I don't know, if you rent, maybe. We didn't have them before, but then we had like a bag of almonds or something, and she pulled them out and she was like, hey, I had to throw these almonds out because there were a bunch of like little like larvae in them. Yeah,
no.
Somebody had brought him over for a small get-together apparently in like
That's
May.
what you get for having a get-together.
So we get.
See? COVID times. Moths, pestilence, it's all coming. Viruses, diseases. A buddy of mine had moths in his condo. He had to bomb the place. He had to get all his clothes. He had to get rid of a lot of stuff. Every piece of clothing had to go to the dry cleaner. It was a nightmare.
Yikes.
We had bed bugs once.
Wow, you gotta stop living in flop houses.
No, that was in Chicago. Well, yeah, maybe a flop house. That was, and we were only there a month. We moved into this apartment. We found bed bugs within the first couple of weeks. I fought the guy that had just signed a 1-year lease with us, and then mentioned that I worked at WGN Radio, and he let us out of the lease.
Nice.
He even gave me my rent money back to compensate for all the furniture we were going to leave in the apartment because it was dead.
That's probably you can't take bed bug furniture with you.
We actually, every so often, Betty and I get sad about the furniture items that we remember that we used to have.
Oh, really?
This happens like once, maybe every 6 months. It's like, oh, remember that piece of furniture that's still in Chicago somewhere, probably. Very sad.
Marta wants to know if moths are in your flour.
I threw away almost everything in our pantry.
Really?
Okay, so there were like 2 sealed jars of pickles because apparently I think my wife likes pickles, so I always buy them and then she'll eat them eventually. Sealed jars. And she's, I'm pulling stuff out. She's like, well, that's fine. It's sealed. And I open that cap and pop it open, and there's like 3 worms in the inner lid. I was like, I got through 2 shelves, and I was like, you need to start taking these out because I can't handle it. And at first, we'd pull a couple lids off, and we're like, well, maybe this. But after I saw enough like of those small worm things, so our entire pantry is just empty now. We have 1 plastic bag of stuff that we Lysoled thoroughly and threw in a bag and threw in the freezer that we're going to leave there for 2 weeks to just kill everything.
To try to freeze them to death?
Yeah, just like there's some like baking flour and a couple other things. But no, sugar, lots of pickles, lots of cereal. Just
oh my
all
God.
of it. Yeah, it sucked.
Yeah.
But
by the way,
fire is a good cleanser. Maybe you just burn the place down.
There you go. And your mom said, I think, to us that you put everything in Tupperware containers and you'll live. That's what we've been doing. Since we discovered them and couldn't kill them, all of our food gets poured out immediately after we purchase it, put into a Tupperware container, and then put in the 1 cabinet that we can't get the moths out of.
Now, you said you're renting. What about your landlord?
We've told him. We also told him that the toilet leaks. He doesn't seem to be all that concerned.
Does he
daily
be concerned if you didn't pay your rent?
I think he would be. Yeah. Well, we're moving out. By the way, I'm probably moving in the next few weeks here, so I'm not going to fight those battles anymore.
Exciting!
I know.
You should give me some notice if you're going to come to our guest bedroom. I thought we talked about that. I mean,
I'd be worried.
I was just going to sleep outside. Yeah, I was just going to sleep outside either of your houses with a tent and wait for you to invite me in. I wasn't going to ask to come in. I was just going to sleep in the tent outdoors.
Yeah, but now that I know that you're coming from a bug-infested joint, you can sleep out in the yard, and I'll just turn the hose on you.
Okay, cool.
And leave food out on the deck.
That works. That was going to be my subtle attempt to move in with either of you.
Well, you can take a dump like the dogs, and I'll go around pick it up like I do with theirs, and it'll be fine. But
cool.
Yeah.
I have a plan then.
That's everything. Everything is going to work out, Craig.
Right.
Don't worry.
Everything's looking up.
We'll take good care of you. You'll be fine. Everything will be fine. So you think the moths got brought in by your guest in
Some
this tainted
package.
bag of almonds?
Yeah, did I show you this guy?
That's
It's Rocky Raccoon.
Yeah, it's a giant fat ass raccoon, and it's right on my back deck. And guess where he lives?
Under your
my
deck.
back deck. Yeah. So
Yeah.
today, I'm like, turn to my wife, and I'm like, hey, let's clean out the pantry and throw away hundreds of dollars of food to get rid of moths that are flying around.
Mhm.
And then meanwhile, there's this scratching sound at the wall of my house, because I'm pretty sure the raccoon's trying to tunnel into my
Sure, he
living
wants
room.
to come in. He
Yeah,
got spoiled
so-
food he wants to eat.
Hey man, we wanted to live in a forest. We got what we paid for, I guess.
That's what you get, man.
Good time.
That's
So-
what you get. You get.
We're all going camping.
Now, Brian, you professionally trap raccoons, right?
Well, professionally means I get paid. I do it for the love of the game.
Okay.
I don't. Yes, but I have many coonskin caps. Also because I'm a Davy Crockett cosplayer. But yes, I do in fact trap raccoons. If you need some, I would take that spoiled, tainted, bug-filled food and leave it out toward the far back of your yard. Let the raccoon eat it. Maybe it'll just drop dead.
Ooh, that sounds brutal. And I
Well,
don't think
it's
the
going to be
neighbors-
less brutal than what they do to actually get it out.
Yeah.
You call the city and go, hey, we got it. They're not going to come for a raccoon.
City's not going to come now.
No, they don't care about a raccoon. You
No.
want me to send my dog over who brings dead possums into the house that aren't dead?
Ooh.
I'd be fine. Well, this raccoon definitely has babies, right? So like we got to figure out a way. I'm out of focus because the Red Ranger's in focus. Let's change
know.
that.
Cindy complimenting me that I'm not red anymore because I got
saw.
a new camera. So
There we go.
Yeah. Yeah, dude. Wait till you see my studio when it's done. If I
I can't
ever
wait.
finish it.
Are you bringing it? We'll get back to the raccoon. I have a question about your studio. Does the Bamboo Love palapa folding thing come back that you used to have in your bedroom?
No. I'm building my own bass traps because they normally cost like $600, and you can build one for about $30. So I'm
all about the bass.
Yeah.
No trouble.
Wow. I don't even need it. I just kind of feel like it. You know?
Okay. This is good.
It's going to be an overproduced podcast closet. Very
Yeah.
overproduced.
Why?
I'm gonna get like an LED sign in the background with the American flag, just to,
Why are you going so above and beyond to make this studio incredible in your home? Is it because you intend to work from home moving forward with your
forever.
gig?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
You're never going back to the office?
Why would I do that?
I assume eventually when coronavirus is not a thing that we'll all be back in offices.
No, I'm good. I have a baby and I like seeing him
there you
and
go.
not seeing randos on the Metro and then walking by,
That was the name of your first book, wasn't it, Craig?
Randos on the
Out
Metro. That's my first album. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
The idea of commuting to the city when I don't have to is atrocious.
Fair enough.
I'll go in for theater. That's about it. If that ever opens again.
Nothing's opening.
Yeah.
It's we eventually get through this.
Is that how it works, Craig?
I think so. I'm not saying it's going to be in a week or at the end of the year, but
Come on, make a prediction.
a year from now? How about a year
God,
from
if
right
we're,
now?
If we're still doing this a year from
No,
now.
I don't know.
Not this, not the three of us, but
Yeah, both actually.
but,
No, I'm kidding. I would say that a year from now we'll have all been vaccinated. I think that it's going to take that long for it to be that ubiquitous, right?
yeah, I think so.
Okay, so a
think
year
that's
from
Who wins
now,
the election.
Huh?
Depends on who wins the election. Hi-yo.
we
Till
probably
seven.
won't. We probably won't know that a year from now.
And you know what? Okay, it's that'll be fine. No, we
Mhm.
got to know by December 8th.
I think so.
Why-
I think
why
That's
they
when
need-
the states ratify their votes.
Mhm.
That's the final day, and then the electors are brought together, and then
And then they break all the rules.
right.
Why don't they
Right.
just run it like the GNC and do whatever they want and ignore the will of the people?
Oh, they are. Don't worry about it. That's all.
Okay.
That's all happening.
Oh, right. This Biden's the candidate. Okay.
No, it's happening on both. It's definitely happening on both ends. This is listen. What are we gonna reminisce about the horrors of the two-party system? No, we all know that. We all know that everybody's crooked.
Duopoly.
And then it's funny. We only hear about third-party candidates every 4 years. the time for third-party candidates is like start at the local level, elect a couple mayors, elect a couple state reps, and start building up. So then every 4 years, there's not some unknown who goes, I'm going to be president. Shut up.
Come on, let's be honest though. There's got to be a third-party candidate that comes along at some point that could
You
do
would
well.
hope. Yes.
If the message was unity, if all the message is, and I don't know what things you got to pick from each side to bring that perfect campaign together, but I would assume that a lot of Americans would respond to the promise of unity. The way Biden does it now, I think does ring hollow to a lot of people who didn't support him. It's hard to picture him doing a good job of bringing those people from the other side of the aisle over. But if someone ran that's not a Republican, not a Democrat, and we all liked that person, don't they have a chance in 2024?
I would hope, but I don't think you can bring that to the main stage right away. I think because most of these third-party candidates have never done anything else. And that I know that's a romantic notion that we want people who've never done anything in politics, but I think you should have done something. Maybe even Pete Buttigieg was a mayor. Granted, it was South Bay, but he's done something.
At least a grade school treasurer, some level.
Mayor Pete. I was the hall aide in rural Indiana. Vote for me, everyone. I was in the military.
Mayor Pete was.
I'm not jumping on you mocking somebody in the military.
Yeah, no, and also Mayor Pete was utterly eloquent. So I don't know what this is.
Utterly eloquent, a decorated veteran.
He was.
So
he's a well-educated Ivy League human.
Wow.
Cody is on a.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Ivy League decorated. I bet. Yeah. Okay. Cool. No. So how's the
I
got a friend who was in the Marines who was in Iraq, all right? He was a helicopter pilot. He's got tinnitus. He was on the ground doing stuff. Pete, come on.
Pete.
No, dude, Ivy League, dude, come on. He was over there like, it's like when Prince William serves in the military. Come on.
No, wow, not at all.
My uncle was one of the highest ranking Marines. His favorite story is one he told at, I think it was my cousin's wedding. And he came up to the table of like the nephews and the nieces. And he's like, I got to tell you guys about this time that I was in Iraq. And we're like, okay, Uncle Vinny, go ahead. And he talked about how he found out that one of the people that they had captured while they were invading a place spoke English. So he dangled him out of a helicopter and got him to tell them a lot more valuable things so that they could figure out some terrible things happening. So I am very aware of good Marines, serving Marines, all those kind of things that you just said, Cody. His Uncle Vinny is about up here. And I think Pete did a fine job during his military career.
Yeah, there's been nobody who has gone after his military career. He was
right, other than Cody, who's probably running.
Cody. So Cody, you are all on your own on this one. Sorry, brother. I hate to hang you out to dry, but sometimes you're.
And I wanted to one up your Marine friend story with Uncle Vinny, who is, by the way, I think a hero and also a very intense dude to this day. Yeah. Uncle Vinny scares me in all the good ways that a Marine should scare you.
Right.
Good talk.
No, listen, we all worked at GN. There was a former Marine. One of the producers is a former Marine. There's a lot. Yeah. There's a
lot of great people that have served in the military. And there's a lot of real bad people that have served in our military.
All right. Do you have anything to back up what you're saying?
The dude in the military that like shot 20 people in Texas on a base.
I'm talking about your going after Mayor Pete and his military.
But I'm just saying, military does not automatically mean you're like a good person.
Yeah,
but in this case, let's
find the way to articulate that probably makes us more comfortable. Maybe not you, Cody. But like I would say that violence can attract different people. And if the reason you enroll in the military is to be violent, that is probably not necessarily the tippy top of the most valuable of the people that serve in our armed forces. And people will gravitate to things like a military career if they, have that in them. Also, a lot of people like Michael Vinny who do not, that's not the way he was built as a human, just want to serve and protect the people he loves. And so that individual goes into the military and serves honorably. So I understand your point, Cody, that the military could attract people that are, that are going to abuse those powers. Right. But other than that, I think that I don't know. And it's the same is true for cops and stuff. If we go down that road, which we probably won't do
I
on the
hope we
quarantine
don't.
cast. Yeah.
But that's exactly, I was going to make that same point. It's listen, every field draws in people who are jerks.
Right. Radio does.
Everybody does. But, you know,
Horticulture?
in this case, we can't really. Yeah, horticulture. Come on. Have you seen those
They're
dirty
all
hippies
dicks.
who are growing weed? They're
Right.
all filthy.
You go to one horticulture convention and you'll finally realize those people are all assholes.
I don't know why we're
The
still
guys
talking
just walk around asking women if they can plant their seed. That's all they do.
Oh, that's weird. No, dude, my grandparents were in the military, and many family members actually. So, you know,
Yeah, my grandpa was Army. My uncles are all Marines. Same thing. And you and I didn't serve, Cody. It didn't call to either of us.
Oh man, I thought about it a lot of times.
Did
but
you?
my mom would have killed me. Yeah, I did. My
Really?
mom would have
Yes.
killed me or died because I don't think that. Well, because it was like, I mean, you know, we graduated. It was like Iraq time. It wasn't like,
Yeah.
it wasn't like, you know, do National Guard, hang out on weekends. It was like, oh, you're going to war. Well, I mean, we're always at war, but like, it was like, especially we're going to war. Yeah, no good. No, that wasn't going to happen.
I took the test. I took the Army test. I went to recruiting right after college because I found out that they would pay you back for your student loan. And I was like, this sounds like a good idea. So I took it, and they told me what job I could have had, and then I left, and I never
What were you
came
gonna
back.
be? Jeep mechanic?
What's that?
Jeep mechanic?
That would have been great. No, I was going to be it was like some sort of bomb technician, and they showed me the video in which you could disarm a bomb with a robot. And I was like, that was a really cool video, this very expensive robot, and I'm controlling it, and I disarm the bomb. And then I looked at the guy and I go, does everyone who gets that role in the field get a robot? And he said no. And then I left and didn't.
No,
I didn't
just the
come
guy
back.
in the video.
Right,
Everybody
yeah,
else
like-
is like Hurt Locker.
Right. The robot's great. Do I get that in the
Sure.
field? Not always.
No, you're in the
Yeah.
middle of nowhere. Nowhere. It's not sending a robot there to Kandahar. You got to
And
go by yourself.
I know that the role isn't actually bomb tech. I can't remember what it was, but it was some sort of specialist that my expertise was diffusing things like that.
My neighbor in California was a bomb tech on the Ventura County Sheriff's Department.
Okay.
And so he would bring his truck home and his gear and everything. And then on 4th of July, they have this flash rope and he would lay it out down the street. Just whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. It's unbelievably cool.
Sweet. Still, no
Oh,
interest.
no,
Yeah.
not for me. It's
Right.
great. I'm
thrilled
kudos to
somebody
the men and
does
women
that.
who do it. I can't.
The thing I kept thinking of after I walked out of that place is the person who sees that video asked the same question I asked and still signs up. Like, that guy is a cool guy or girl because I'm not that human. I can't watch things explode, envision myself in the scenario, and feel like that's a good career move.
The goal is to not let them explode.
I'm aware.
All right.
It's a good talk we had.
Yeah. So we haven't figured out how Cody's getting rid of his raccoon, though.
No.
Oh, I'm going to call it Trapper.
You're calling a trapper while we're doing this?
Yeah, that's what I was just texting just now while I was talking trash about people for no reason. I was mostly trolling. I mean, I don't like him, but I have no problem with people in the military inherently. Tulsi served in the military, by the way.
Right.
Tulsi Gabbard.
And are you-
have some respect.
Are you bad mouthing her military record?
No, dude, her military record, everything she has done is solid. Solid.
By the way, I love the fact that you just said that, because if you guys saw the Chris Rock interview, I think he gave with the Rolling Stone, one of the things he mentioned was how we all have to say the most obvious of things today. Otherwise, we get attacked for sentences that seem like they, somehow disavowed something that's very obvious. I think he was talking about racism and how, like blackface or something. I don't know what the topic was, but Chris Rock was like, by the way, I don't think that blackface is okay if my statement about Jimmy Fallon doing it somehow was confusing.
Well, yeah, you can't confuse people.
Right.
Can't confuse people.
No,
What
but
are
I
they going
thought
to use to get the raccoon out? A spear?
Which
I know. Craig wants to. We're getting into territory that I can see people are not comfortable with, and by people I mean the three of us. So
I am serious like 30% of the time, and it's
Right.
never clear when that is, even sometimes to me. So I think that makes this podcast hard to take apart. Like, do I think that Pete Buttigieg talks like a very slow Southern drawl? Like, that's not really a good impression of him. Did I really write in Tulsi Gabbard? Who could know? Maybe I don't even know. Maybe I just like circled the write-in box and gave it to my wife, and I was like, write in a funny name. Maybe it was Mickey Mouse. Maybe I wrote in Craig Collins. Maybe I wrote in Craig Collins show. Maybe I wrote in Brian Noonan show. Literally no one knows, not even me. And that is why I'm the chaotic neutral on this endeavor.
Yeah.
And that was the show today. Thank you so much for joining us on the QuarantineCast. We'll be back next week.
Thanks for joining us for the final QuarantineCast. It was a lot of fun. We had a good run. Had a good run while we were at it. And,
Brian, for what it's worth, I think you're on fire. How was your week?
I am up for it because I'm getting these conversations. Now you can tell it's not the camera. Now my face truly is getting red. It is. I feel the blood pumping up to my head, and it's like I'm going to explode. Not out of any other reason other than we turned the heat back on after we had the windows open today, and I'm wearing a hoodie, and that's that. Oh, never mind. I'm going to treat the chat sometime like we treat the text line at this station. And now,
I did not diss people with a Southern accent. I love Southern accents, actually. What I was saying was I don't actually think that he sounds like what I was saying, which was a Southern accent. Mm-hmm. That's all I was saying. Southern accents are great. Let's go, dude. Irish, British, dude. Serious.
Read the interview. Irish. Read the Chris Rock interview too. You guys will like it.
I think I did read it.
I think it's good. He was talking about how Jimmy Fallon had used blackface in some sketch some time ago, and how Jimmy didn't have a bad intent behind it, but obviously that's a bad thing to do. And then he followed that statement up with, by the way, in case you write this somehow and people get confused, I don't condone blackface because in 2020 we all have to say obvious sentences out loud so people don't attack us for them. That was trying to be in support of Cody. Obviously not trying to attack all of our military or all Southern accents with what he said. Refresher. Done.
I did not bring enough beer for this one. What?
There we go. What are your thoughts on the race for Metropolitan Water Reclamation District?
Somebody keeps saying that I am running for, there must be somebody named Noonan that is running for Metropolitan Water Reclamation District. I can guarantee you it is not me, because I don't think we should reclaim water. I think it should be free to run wherever it wants to. I have no serious thoughts on, I don't know what metropolitan area the water is trying to be reclaimed from.
Interesting.
So it's not me.
Does anyone else think it's weird that people have to run for coroner? Is this like a really ignorant thing of me to say? Like, it's not a thing you would expect, right? Like, you look at the ballot, you're like, oh, there's the hot coroner race. Like, I'm sure it's an important position. I'm glad we have one, but I didn't realize it was like an elected office.
I don't know if I've ever had to vote for coroner.
Wait, what?
I don't remember voting for coroner.
I mean, it would be on the checklist. If you just went down the line.
Coroner is on my ballot for sure.
Yeah.
Well, maybe your county. Maybe there was a county. Maybe your county had a coroner election.
Yeah.
I live in the big city. We leave our coroners for back alleys. This guy's throwing people up on sawhorses and opening them up. He looks dead to me. Looks dead to me too. What do you think killed him? Well, it could have been us cutting him open. But other than that, I'm not sure. So I don't know. All I know about coronering is Quincy. Jack Klugman from TV. That was before your time, fellas.
Did you dress up for Halloween, Brian?
Halloween was lovely. And kind of, yeah. There was a big debate because, I'm pretty staunch in my bubble. I don't let people in. I try not to invade other people's bubble. I go to the store, I wear my mask, I'm in and out. I don't putz around. So I was trying to decide if partaking in trick-or-treating was me giving tacit endorsement to people going against the rules of the suggestions of the public health officials. Now, in the city of Chicago, they did not cancel trick-or-treating. They kind of said, well, we'd rather you didn't, but if you're gonna, you should kind of do it this way. So there was a big debate. I had bought the candy weeks ago, and proudly had not opened any of them. It was lovely. But we were going back and forth up until Saturday afternoon when we decided, all right, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to take a table out front. because our house was all decorated, as you can imagine. And Debbie was like, well, aren't you afraid of having the house all decorated and not giving out candy? And I was like, no, I'm not. That doesn't scare me, But we decided, I took a table out front and I put it down right near the sidewalk. And I sanitized the table real good. And then we had bagged up. We took snack bags, like little Ziploc snack bags, and put 3 fun-size bars in every bag. And then I laid them out on the table. And I thought it was such a lovely afternoon that I would sit out there because I like watching the trick-or-treaters. So Debbie and I took chairs out there. We were probably 10 to 12 feet away from the table.
Wow.
I had a cigar. I had a nice IPA. I had a half-head Elvis mask on. And Debbie had a dinosaur onesie that she put on.
Nice.
And we sat there like crazy old people and watched. And we actually had about 67 kids come by.
Shut up.
Wow.
Really?
From 3 to 7. And I will say, most of them were, all of them were just in their little family. It was, the biggest group was maybe 4 or 5 kids, but you could tell they were with their family. And then it was one kid with a mom or dad. And then some people, because there were so few houses, were like driving up and down the blocks. And if they saw a house, the parent would stop and the kid would get out and come. And they all had costumes on, and everybody was very excited that people were practicing trick-or-treating. So I felt that we did it as safely as we could. There was no contact with anybody. We weren't within 6 feet of anybody. And, I got to sit outside and smoke a cigar like a lunatic in an Elvis mask. So not bad. Did you have any people at your house, Craig?
No, we had nobody.
No.
I think there was one family that was walking down our block and realized that like none of the other lights were on. Nobody else was giving out candy. And we would have figured it out. I think we have some candy in the house, but they didn't even come to our house, and that was it.
Now, you live in a very suburban neighborhood, Cody. Did anybody come to your house?
Yeah, dude, you'll have an opinion about this. At like 2:59, so the Village of Lombard kept sending out all these notices, and they're like, we're usually trick-or-treating hours are 3 to 7, but we're not recommending anything this year. Just do what's safe. So they're kind of, washing their hands of any responsibility, which is smart. 2:59, like 8 kids come up. They're all probably 12 years old, and they're not dressed up. They're wearing like, one guy's got like a hood up on his hoodie. One guy, I think, had a mask and street clothes, and they all had pillowcases. And they're like trick-or-treat. And I was like, you guys are not even trying. They just dumped a bunch of candy in their bags. We had a handful of people after that.
So you actually got arm's length with these people?
No. Oh, no. So we also set up a table. Probably half a dozen houses in our neighborhood set up a table outside.
Okay.
And just hung out outside. Yeah. Yeah. So
I loved seeing all the pictures of people who had come up with these crazy tubes that they were going to shoot the candy down into the kids' bags. I don't know if they did that in Bloomington, but all over Chicago, anybody with I was bummed that I didn't have a porch. It
was like a mousetrap kind of thing.
Yeah, they built all kinds of elaborate stuff. Like some had built a plywood ghost, and the mouth was the tube, and it said, "Put your bag here." They'd shoot the candy down into the kids' bags. It was phenomenal.
We did not have any of that.
I wanted to do something creative like that, but we just didn't have time. But we borrowed my friend's drone, because we were thinking we might attach bags of candy to the drone and fly it over to the kids at one point, till we realized we would crash it into some 5-year-old's head and probably get arrested. So we just, too much of a liability.
Yeah, that's not a good move.
Mm-mm.
We Roger's chiming in that I looked lonely. I was not lonely. I was sitting out with Debbie. We were out in front of the house. Beautiful. Enjoying a nice, like I said, nice cigar, IPA. We were listening to the top 50 scary songs on Sirius. So, we made it a whole big Halloween. It was fantastic.
That's pretty rad.
Fantastic. And then, can I give a corporate shout out? You want to hear a nice corporate story that'll take no time at all? I told you I live down the block from the Mars Candy Company. And normally they do a big thing every Halloween where they open the doors like Willy Wonka, and they come out to the parking lot and people line up for blocks and blocks to just get full bags of candy. Friday morning, I'm leaving the house, and I open the door, and there's a bag hanging on my door. And I'm like, what the hell is this? I open it up. There's a letter inside. The Mars Company sent their employees around giving candy to all their neighbors. There was a beautiful note in there that said, listen, we know we can't have Halloween like we usually do, but we appreciate our good neighbors. Hopefully we'll be able to do this again next year. Giant bag of candy.
Nice.
It was fantastic. Fantastic. Free candy. You can't beat free candy.
Congrats, dude. I'm wearing a Mars Cafe t-shirt. Not affiliated in any way, but just wanted to make that really smooth tie-in.
That worked. I think Craig is upset.
I'm not upset at all.
All right. I think things took an awkward turn.
Why?
No,
when?
I'm just
People are
sitting and waiting.
Wait, what was awkward? What could possibly have been awkward about the last hour of this conversation?
Nothing. No, nothing.
Nothing.
Did I ruin it?
No.
Am I fired? Is it because I'm out of practice?
No one's
I've been
fired.
awake since 4 a.m.
None of us are fired. I've also been awake a long time. None of us are fired.
We just got up.
Look, I'm Craig. I've also been awake just like Cody.
What the hell's your baby doing up at 4 a.m? What is he doing at 4 a.m?
Eating and then screaming a bunch and then being so cute. He's the cutest widow baby. He's asleep now though, so
I'm going to warn you. This is what's dangerous. This is why you may want to go back to the office at some point. Because if you only talk to an infant all day, you're only used to talking to infants.
Dude, the infant is the only guy on my level at this house, right? Because my wife is too smart. Someone in the chat asking why I do that. It's just a dumb thing Borat does, so I just do it. My mom in the chat saying Rockford's coroner race was the best. He had been indicted for 8 separate counts of forgery, 4 counts of official misconduct, 2 counts of theft, and 2 counts of conspiracy, but refused to resign and no one ran against him. So guess who the coroner is? Welcome to Illinois. I love it.
I love Rockford.
Oh, man.
That is incredible. I didn't know you could
most
commit that many
dangerous
crimes.
cities in America.
Did the fact that this person was coroner aid in those crimes that they were committing, or what was?
Yeah,
that
what
is
kind
amazing.
Of conspiracy too? Was it money laundering?
Right.
Was it human trafficking? Was it organs?
Nancy, we need so many more details.
Yeah,
We
was
have
he
so
selling off
few.
organs in a cooler? What was going
Right.
on?
Dude,
That's what I want to know.
I don't know. Jim Lasky was a convicted felon and he got a show on WGN. So, fail up in this state.
So I'm announcing I was just indicted. So I'm looking to do mornings.
Oh, there you go.
It's gonna be exciting. I don't know what I was indicted for, but something horrendous, I'm sure.
It doesn't matter.
None of this matters, Craig. You know that.
I do.
Nothing matters. Nothing matters. So yeah. I'll plug this now. I'm going to be on TMJ again Friday night. So
There you go.
WTMJ. You can listen there and do that. We had extra. Debbie kept wanting to open more bags of candy. We had the big 150 piece Costco bags of candy, and I was good with just putting out our initial. I think we had 50 bags to get us to go, like little bag, not 50 bags of the 150,
right?
50 the snack bags we made, and so. But then it was about 5:30. Oh, we're close. We got to open that other bag. And I know why you want to open that other bag of candy. No doubt about it. So we ended up giving a bunch of candy to the next door neighbors. And the minute I gave it to them, I regretted it because I was like, oh, I wanted the candy out of the house. But the minute the candy was out of the house, I wanted the candy. You ever had that you do something nice and then you regret it?
Yeah. It depends on who you do it for, too, actually. If I ever did anything nice for my little brother, I almost always regretted that. I don't know what that is.
And I know you regret now saying that you would be on this.
No, not at all.
I regret every time I do something nice for Craig.
I know. He does. I can't wait to camp outside your house later today.
That's actually not true.
Has he done something nice for you?
I can't. No. Not that I can think of.
Oh, that's pretty good.
You know what's fun? I think this is what's happening on the show, by the way, for anyone that's like, man, there's a lot of pauses. I don't think any of us brought topics to the show today. Noonan did. Let's do some topics.
Listen, we got everything got crazy because we got so political.
I know we did.
That was the issue. Everything got political.
I'm waiting for topics.
All right, here's an election that I helped throw.
There we go.
I stole an election this week.
Fantastic.
I participated in this.
Yes, Cody. Well, a lot of people helped, and thank you to all the people. So Molly's got this dog, Walter, and they were doing this thing at the. He goes once a week. He goes to play group while Molly goes to work, So they were doing this thing at the vet office where they do the play group, a Halloween costume contest. And if you got the most votes, you got 6 months of heartworm and some other kind of medication. About like $300 worth of medication. So for Molly, that's a lot of dough. But they were doing the photographs at the veterinary place. And I don't know why she didn't want to go there. It was a day she didn't take him to play group or something. I don't know. And she called and said, well, can I just submit a photo? Anyway, oh, yeah. So she got this goofy costume for the dog. And I know you guys don't have dogs. I've said this before. Don't ever dress up a dog because it's not
nice.
It's not nice. They don't want to be dressed up. They don't want
pet expert Steve Dale would agree with you.
I hope so. I love Steve Dale, and if he disagreed with me on that, I would have to.
You'd have to unfriend him.
Well, I like cutting people off. I am good. I cut so many people out of my life. And in an hour, there might be 2 less. I don't know, but I'm kidding. But so she sends us this picture, and it's Walter in a werewolf costume, and it looks like he's howling because he's so unhappy. She submits this, and I forget about it. And then she calls in last Friday. Hey, it's the contest today. Can you share this with people on Facebook? And I'm like, yeah, okay. So I shared it on my page. I shared it on the show page. And long story short, she's completely invested and was psychotic about it. The voting was running from Friday until 10 p.m. on Saturday. And she kept checking. Did you post it? Okay. Did you vote? Yes. Did you look at the Yes. I said, I thought you didn't care about this. Well, I don't care, but the medicine's a lot of money, so I could use the money. So Saturday, I posted it Friday. I checked. There were some really cute dogs, and I voted for a couple of them, but none of them were close to Walter's vote tally. Molly sends me a screen grab where it's a picture of a dog, and how on Facebook it'll give like 1 or 2 people's names and 18 others like this picture. And she's like, WTF. The dog's really cute. And, he's got 11 votes and Walter has 140. I think he's okay.
I don't know.
I went through, I voted for a couple others, but Walter ended up winning in a landslide. Walter had like 200 and some votes. The next closest dog was about 115.
Wow.
And that next closest dog was cute. It was a senior basset hound dressed like a pirate.
Oh.
And you could tell the basset hound's eyes were like, I'm too old to fight this, but I really wish I was dead. He had that look, that faraway look in his basset hound eyes where he just, that was that. He was ready to go.
Wow.
Yeah.
The pirate dog says, "Rawr."
Is that a pirate dog or a pirate lion?
There's a pirate dog.
Cindy voted for Walter. Thank you, Cindy. Look at that. See, people. Yes, and that pirate dog, according to Roger, like a Chicago dog, is now suing for a recount.
Hi-yo!
Because the word got out that the election had been stacked by some carpetbagger from Chicago, who took.
But hold on. I'm going to play devil's advocate here. Don't you think that if the courts don't try a case with a dog, people won't take dogs seriously? And don't you think that would relegate them to being second citizens? Think about it, Noonan.
All right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Craig, aren't you so happy that I'm back?
I'm happy about everything that's happening this evening, actually. I will also say this. I just got a message from friend of the show, Dan Lloyd, and he said that apparently the topic that he thinks we should discuss is how music affects the brain. And I imagine there's been quite a few studies on Curiosity Daily that involve both music and the brain. This specifically is about how you get music chills sometimes and where that comes from, why that happens in your brain.
Oh, God.
Seems like Cody already knows.
Pinky in the brain instead?
Yeah, there you go.
We've definitely covered that science, but I've scripted like 1,500 stories.
Your favorite songs will send your brain into a pleasure overload. That is what gives you that little physical, I guess, embodiment of that pleasure overload. Have you guys ever noticed how if you listen to multiple songs on the same CD, that you'll know what the next song coming is based on how the previous song ends? Does that make any sense? Like if you listen to multiple songs on a CD, no, I promise it's a real thing. Because it's the transition. Our brains are more inspired to pay more attention during a transition. I will not memorize the track list of a CD I've listened to several times or whatever it is, a playlist. But when one song is ending, the next song will pop into my brain before it starts. I think that's really interesting.
You've already listened to, correct?
Right. Yeah. I've conditioned my brain now to expect something next after a certain, and it doesn't happen until the end of the song. And I don't know why that is, other than I guess my brain has just been conditioned to remember those transitions.
Yeah, because you've listened to the album a number of times. Unless you have it on shuffle.
Yeah, but I can't
impressing me.
See, but no, I'm not trying to impress. I think it's so weird about the brain because I wouldn't be able to tell you what all the numbers are or like all the songs in order off the top of my head. I'd have to be listening to it and hear it. And then when one ends, I would know what the next one is. Only in that moment would I know. This doesn't happen to either of you. I'm alone in this too. I'm alone in this too. Someone in the chat.
Why two? Why is it two?
Because of the other stuff. Yes, Craig. Yes, Craig. Thank you, Sandy. No, I don't remember.
If it's an album I've listened to a lot,
it doesn't even have to be that much, I guess. Next. I guess it doesn't have to be. See that maybe it's not so much that, but I don't know. It happened to me a lot more often than I could understand. And I think it's a similar thing to this study from France about the music chills you get. Your brain responds to the sounds in a certain way.
Came from
there we
France.
go. There we go. Yes, Craig from Kim too. Oh my God. Thank you so much, Sandy. Thank you so much, Kim.
Also
so helpful on the show.
Legley Armson, that's a real name, pointing out in the chat, it's like your brain remembers the album as one long song.
I believe that to be kind of true.
If it's a live album, especially.
Craig, totally. Man, I don't know if they're just supporting me to be kind right now.
I
but
think
Marta
people are
well.
starting to feel sorry for you.
I don't think so.
If you, dude,
I
can
don't
we
think so.
rename this show Brian, Cody, and Craig Totally? That'd be great.
Mixtape.
Craig Totally. It should be
Craig Totally.
Should be a radio name.
Impossible. Yes, I get it.
Collins is good, but Totally is really good.
No.
What other topics, Brian, can you use to save us from whatever?
Oh, no. This is an equal. If we're going down, we're all going down together. That's just it's all for one. You go, we go, as they said in Backdraft.
Well, no, okay. So, all right. I thought that my story of ignoring the election would be kind of funny, but that was like 2 minutes, right? And then I thought we would talk about, like, I would tell my moth and my raccoon story. That was like a minute. So, like,
no, we glossed over a lot of. Well, you and Craig both have bugs in your house, and that made me uncomfortable. I felt bad for you because I picture you both as successful men, not guys who live in cardboard crates that are infested with bugs. Craig's got his radio bunker. Who knows what's behind those black curtains? Could just be black mold. That could be black mold. I don't even know if that's a curtain.
Oh, I think it's a printer.
It could be a printer. Okay. Yeah. So I felt bad. I didn't want to.
No.
I turned my camera away so that you couldn't see my printer. There's printers just out of sight in both of our situations.
My printer is in front of me to the right.
Dude.
So my printer
Good call, Brian.
There.
You have the best printer placement of all of us.
No, I don't. It's just, you know why it's there? So when it prints, I don't have to get up. It prints and I reach over. That's what I did. I reached over and I got all these. So I got stuff, but it's just right there. That's why I love it. And there's pictures of you behind me, actually. Back there.
Who? Me?
Yeah. From your wedding.
Yeah, those are good.
Yeah.
I got a picture. Actually, I get like I don't know why I have this here. Hang on. Wait, you're going to, dude, Roger's going to love this. Wait a sec. Can I reach? It?
Okay.
Don't ask me why this
is
in
What's the matter, Craig?
Well,
what's the matter?
My
Nothing.
my office that I'm broadcasting from is the least finished and organized and moved into room in my entire house because I just keep moving furniture and ripping out walls and doing all this other stuff. So somewhere along the way, I took a bunch of stuff out of a box apparently, and this has just been sitting on my bookcase for like since I moved in, basically. Here's a blast from the past.
Oh God. I think you showed us this before. I think you showed us this last time.
It's been a minute though. You see that, Craig?
Good
I
Lord.
do. That's amazing.
It's a photo strip of Roger Badish, Brian Noonan, Christopher Michael, and very young me I guess
Very
we were all
young you,
younger.
a very heavy me, and it looks like a very high Roger Badish.
Chicago Blackhawks night of improv for the Children's Neuroblastoma Cancer Foundation.
Yes.
Brian emceed. But yeah, I've got these two like printed out film strips, and they've just, like, I don't know. They're just sitting on my bookcase. So yeah, that's a good time. Not really in focus. There we go. Good times. Roger looks great. What are you talking about?
Oh, that one he
Brian,
does. The other
Brian.
ones, his eyes were closed.
Oh, no, these are good. These are good. I look like a weirdo in this. So anyway, that's how far we go back.
Very nice.
100 years.
100 years ago.
Yeah.
100
So
years.
I have your picture.
Are you guys getting worried about the numbers going up? Are you going to increase the security of your bubbles, or are you suffering from COVID fatigue and you're like, screw it now, if we get sick, we get sick? I put it to you, Craig.
Okay. I was waiting. I didn't know who wanted to take it. I've been quarantining for almost 3 weeks now because Betty's going to Mexico on Friday. And we wanted to keep her family safe. They both have diabetes, her mom and dad, and several other members of the family have pre-existing conditions. Betty wanted to fly. I really wanted to drive her at least part of the way, if not all the way. So it's weird. I know in where I live in the Midwest, there, everything's not shut down, although it's starting to. I've really enjoyed being quarantined, though, guys. Like, there's some about it that's like there's the abundance of safety that exists when you're in quarantine is nice. So as you ask me, as cases are getting higher, I've been so detached from that stuff that I've kind of not cared, in not a disrespectful way, but like I'm already protected. I kind of want to
do your part. You're not out there,
I kind of want to quarantine until I have a vaccine, like personally, and not because I'm afraid, just because that's the best way to go. But I'm not sure that that'll be possible. What about you, Cody? Are you increasing your bubble?
I've got something actually freaked me out. This is actually a real thing.
Is this part of the 30%? Where you're serious?
It's hard to know. It's hard.
No,
this
go back to his thing, and he doesn't even remember.
No, this thing I'm actually serious about. So, we've been super careful, right? But like, we want our baby to meet people like my family. I have to be kind of vague with this story because I don't want to like out anybody or whatever.
And your mom's listening.
Well, yeah, no, she knows. It's whatever. But so recently, so like around Halloween, we wanted him to meet a member of my family who we thought was very safe. This person really doesn't see anybody. This person in my family works in an office with like, I don't know, 3 or 4 or 5 people tops. So like, that's not a lot of exposure, right? So this person's like bubble is extraordinarily small, right? You think very low risk. But it so happened that after we saw my relative, found out that one of his coworkers isn't quite so careful about COVID precautions and was diagnosed with COVID-19.
Oh.
And since they like work together, like, I don't know, they don't necessarily interact a lot. So it's not like, for sure this person got it and would have like given it to me and my wife and my kid or whatever. But like even at a small get together of like 3 to 5 family members, even with everyone being, like, let's say there's 5 people in a room and they each only interact with 3 people.
Mm-hmm.
That means that there's 15 people in their outer bubble total. And if one of those 15 people messes up, then that's a potential vector to get to that core group of people. And then all of them are affected. So there's multiple members, people that I know in Rockford now that are testing because like you don't know. And it's the nature of the virus, right? You can be asymptomatic and still give it to people, or, symptoms don't show up for several days. So, if it were a 1 or 2 day thing, it'd be great. So actually we were supposed to have a visit from some of my in-laws this week. And we were like, we should maybe not do this. And like and it's probably an overabundance of caution, but like that incident really, I was really upset when I heard about it. Partly because like you're so careful all the time and you expend all this mental energy and then it's like something happens and you're like, whatever. But it also like just really highlights like, I don't know, how scary it is, how fragile the whole situation is. So I don't know. I don't know if we'll extra quarantine or what, but like, I don't know what Thanksgiving's going to look like. It might look like a Zoom call.
This.
Yeah.
It's going to look like a bunch of faces on a screen.
Yeah. Because all all it takes is one person, right? And then we get back, here, and I've got all these errands I had planned to do. And it was like, well, I'm not going to zip around to Page County on or after election day where people may be voting. I mean, my buddy works in Rockford at a factory, and one of his coworkers tested positive for COVID, but demanded that he be let into work because he's asymptomatic. And he says, I know my body, the test is lying. Even though his sister was also tested positive for COVID. He said, yeah, no, I know my body. It's a false positive. And he tried to get into work. And so he showed up at the office and he was wearing an I voted sticker. And this is the type of people that, like, you think people are smart and conservative about like how they're going to go out, but they're not. And so, like, it's just really easy to spread. And
your mom adds to this story. She says that this person did not think it necessary to let others in the office know that he had COVID symptoms because it was no big deal to him. And so he decided he could decide that it was no big deal to others. It's not all about you. I like that you said you think people are smart. You probably think people are always trying to do good too. This is why, and you show flashes of this. This is why I know you have promise, Cody, because you show flashes of the realization that most people don't care about anybody else.
Yeah.
It's and I'm sorry. And that's across the board. That's not singling out any particular group. That's across the board. My faith in humanity is about this big. There is nobody.
Well,
there's nothing.
And
I have no faith in humanity.
And for full context, earlier I talked about how I talked someone out of going to the polls yesterday because I was like, you tried to vote early, you couldn't. Your job is to stay home. This was one of the people that was tangentially interacted in this situation. And it was after I had received the text from my friend about his insane coworker who insists it's fine and was wearing an I voted sticker. So like between the two, I'm like, you might have it. And even if you don't, there's people like that Yahoo who are just running around who do have it, who literally have tested positive and refuse to believe it or like whatever. And they just go out, and it's freaky. So I'll be a little bit more, probably conservative about it, which sucks. Like,
it does suck. No,
my brother Zach hasn't met my son. Like, he hasn't met his uncle Zach yet, I mean,
yeah, but Zach is always so oiled up from his competitions, he'd probably drop the baby anyway. I love your brother. He's swole all the time.
I would never hand him a baby.
No, they're too fragile. And he doesn't know his own strength. Look at him.
Truthfully,
he's all pumped up. The guy's a specimen, a beautiful physical specimen.
Dude, my baby is wearing 6-month-old clothes. He's not a tiny dude.
No, your baby's going to be tall.
He's gigantic baby. So if one baby could handle being held by him, it'd be my baby.
Kim is saying that firemen in Lockport tested positive, found to be, yes, there can be false positives, but you got to have the second test to see if it's a false positive. You can't just go, nah, I know my body.
And false positives are far more rare than false negatives statistically. So I'm sure that story is true. I'm sure it happens, but
listen, I know my body too. I've thought I've had COVID since last December. I've been wrong. So my body, I don't even have faith in my own body's humanity to actually give me the correct messages. So how can you go? Yeah, that's probably that could be the dumbest thing I've ever heard. I know my body. I know it's fake. I know it's a false positive.
Yeah,
okay.
The fragility though. Like my sister could have somebody walk into her HR office, the day before Thanksgiving just to like check something and then walk out. And then she comes home and sees me and my family and suddenly 10 of us have COVID. Like it really is that.
To be fair, though, we all know people that probably go out all the time and have never gotten coronavirus, and that empowers more people to think. It's so odd that, and I know that there's people that might hear this or maybe not, and think that we're all being too cautious. But truthfully, and even like with the high school kids playing sports and stuff, like all those things, like it takes one example of someone making a mistake, getting someone else sick, and losing a life, and then anyone in that circle will say it was a bad decision to take the risk. right?
Yeah. No, you're right. Listen, I've gone to the grocery store and stuff, and we stopped at a couple outdoor places and had a beer, and so far we've been good. We've looked at what we think the risks are and have decided this was a acceptable risk.
Mhm.
But last weekend they broke up like 3 parties in Chicago. One of them, I think they said, had 200 or 400 people at this big thing. That's not an acceptable risk.
No,
That's just dumb,
Brian.
Why
are you going to the grocery store?
Why do I go to the grocery store? Because I'm not going to trust somebody in a vest on an app to pick out what apples I want and to go through. And I like to buy my own groceries. And the grocery stores I go to are everybody seems to be well masked. People don't walk. People don't shop with the sense of urgency that I do. But I
won't let my wife go.
There's a lot of, oh my God.
No, dude, I won't let my wife. I'm not like she can do whatever she wants, but I just like I don't let my wife post pictures of my baby on Instagram. Clearly,
that didn't work.
Yeah, but
good for you, Mr. I'm in charge.
But I very adamantly told my wife that I prefer if she not go physically, because she likes to pick out the produce and stuff. But I'm just like, that's where all the germs are. Everyone's touching all the feeling up the avocados and stuff and like that. No, that's not a.
I always have hand sanitizer with me.
No.
So I do that. There's these are big places with a lot of ventilation, and I'm not around people. So, and I have a list.
That's fair.
I always have a list.
You got to have a list.
I always have a list, and then I'm in and out.
You spend less money at the grocery store on average if you bring a list.
Is that right?
Like a lot less.
Well, look at me.
Yeah.
Saving money. Tim said, "Oh, the Burger King was drive-through, Tim.
Mm-hmm.
I'm wearing a mask at the drive-through. They hand me my food before I even open the bag. I sanitize. Boom.
Do you see a lot of other people wearing masks on that end of the drive-through, the customers? Because we do it. My wife and I do it, but we don't see a lot of people doing it around us.
I do. No, okay. I do.
I do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I feel like we should. We're supposed to, right?
Sometimes I kind of half mask it. It'll be like a little bit. The bottom will be a little bit up on my chin, kind of. So it's but because I grab it, do it real quick sometimes. But I make the effort.
Usually just have it hanging off one ear. I think that's good.
Well, and if you go to the Bucks, they just hand you the credit card thing. You stick it in. You don't touch your card, which I like.
Right.
If you go to the Bucks drive-through.
Somebody gave me a gift card recently to Starbucks, but I couldn't put it on my app. I don't know why, and so I had to hand the gift card. And I had to take it and hand it back. There was no scanning. It was very scary. I know, honestly.
I had to. At Taco Tuesday, I had to hand my card to the kid last night. I was not a fan.
But the risks we're willing to take.
To their thing, they have a giant thing of hand sanitizer right there.
Right.
So the card swap, squirt, boom, that was it.
Betty
and he was masked. I was masked. I was in and out.
Betty has a little thing like Clorox wipes, and she's so shy about it, which is funny to me. But as soon as we get the card back, she tells me to put it down in a specific part of the Jeep. Then she makes me wash my hands with hand sanitizer. Then she cleans the card with the Clorox wipe, and then she gives it back to me. It's a whole process just to have a Starbucks.
See, I think, and some people, like you said, some people are going to go, that's crazy.
Right. This guy's nuts.
Yeah, but you're not sick.
I'm not. No.
So, okay. So what? You know? And that's the argument. Well, then you should stay home. No, I shouldn't stay home because I want people to be careful. I should be able to go out in America,
What frustrates me is that no one has come up with like a mathematical formula for assessing the risk, right? Like there should be like a worksheet where you fill out, like you check a few boxes or like rate something on 1 to 10, maybe with a friend or maybe with a social gathering. And if it's above a certain number, you don't go. And if it's below, you do or whatever, right? So it could be like, okay, how many people is the gathering? And so you put like a high number for that. Or like how many people, work in like a public job or whatever, someone's got to be able to do the math. And like, it wouldn't be a be all end all. Like, you're definitely safe, you're definitely not, but it would at least indicate, right? Like you could get a 1 to 100 kind of scale of like, how risky is this? And then you determine your acceptable level of risk. How, like, I don't do math. Someone
they did that a little bit for like only on certain things where I go, you're X amount more likely to be exposed if you're in an environment with this and this. Yeah. And, unfortunately, that's the kind of the whole thing is nuts.
Well, wouldn't a lot of people just do the imperfect thing of saying, all right, there's been 9 million cases. There's 328 million of us in the United States. So my chance is 2%-ish. Yeah. Something like that. 0.2, right. Whatever it is.
And, that's why I feel bad. I feel horrible for restaurants and stuff because, wait a minute, if you're letting other places stay open, you can't always come for the restaurants. You can't come, they've got to be able to keep going, especially the ones that have been following the mandates and the rule and trying to be safe. Yeah. Now it's like any business. Some aren't, some have not been. And, unfortunately, this is what sucks. We don't have the money to enforce it across the board. So we got to give one blanket policy. So everybody suffers. Again, my faith in humanity, where you had some restaurants and bars that are so good about adhering to these things that are trying to keep their customers safe because they know if they do that, they can stay in business and stay open. And you've got other ones that are flying by the seat of their pants. They don't really care. They're not doing anything. And so everybody gets punished because of the few. But all the cases are not coming from restaurants and bars.
They're all coming from Florida.
They're coming from Florida, and they're coming from people hanging around in their houses with a bunch of people. Everything bad.
That's what they've been saying. That's what they've been saying recently, right? On our daily press briefings.
I don't listen to those anymore.
It's Florida's fault.
It's horrible.
No, I think Enrique had said recently that the trend we were seeing in our state in Illinois is that most people, like some weird percentage of people that were coming down with it, had been to a gathering at somebody's house with
juggalos?
Yeah, just I don't know if it's a house party or what you call it, because even they had like family gatherings and stuff. Yeah, but
like if birthday parties and weddings and
if you were indoors with multiple people at some sort of venue in the last 2 weeks, you were much more likely to have had COVID-19
than if you went and had a hamburger at Five Guys.
Correct.
And sat 12 feet away from somebody who wasn't hacking.
Exactly. Or just hit the drive-through.
Yeah, just go drive-through.
There you go.
All right. Here's my issue. It's going to be 70 all week here. I was out today walking around in just shorts and a t-shirt, doing yard work and all that. And I said to Debbie, we got to do something on Saturday. Maybe we'll go walk somewhere. And then I was like, oh, and we could stop somewhere and have a beer outside. And I'm like, one, I don't think any place is still even, places closed up their patios. I don't want to be inside a tent because that defeats the purpose of being outside. I love these, God bless them. They're putting up these giant event tents, but they're all closed up. I'm like, well, that's just like being inside. So I'm not going in your tent, but I want to kind of sit out on a patio somewhere and have a beer. I guess I'll just have to do it on my deck. All right. Thanks for playing along. I jump in with your opinions.
I had a beer on my deck today. It was beautiful. We raked leaves. I used a leaf. How do you use a leaf blower, Brian?
No, I just I use the lawnmower.
All right. Yeah.
Because I used to rake them all up. It did a lot of work. So now I run the vacuum, the lawnmower, and I figure the little leaf that's left is going to be a mulch. It's going to go down and help with the lawn maintenance. Okay. And again, 15 minutes after I did it, my lawn was covered with leaves again.
Right.
So
I have not figured out leaf blowing technique very well. Right? Because it blows everywhere, right?
Yes.
So you do walk in a line pointing one direction?
Yes.
Do you walk straight and push it to the side? Like what angle do you start?
You go like you're heading in one direction and you do a fan motion. So you're pushing everything one way.
Right.
And then when you get it to a certain, now does your village, can you just blow them into the street?
I don't know. I need to find that out. There's a huge pile on the street next to my house, so I'm guessing.
Oh, you can't, because then like where we used to live, the village came and picked them up. So I would just then I would just rake everything into the street, because the worst part is gathering them up. So I would just rake them all into the street, and then the truck comes with a giant vacuum hose and sucks them up, and it's like and I would sit out there and watch it and just have a weird sense of accomplishment and entitlement that I had someone else cleaning up my leaves.
So you and someone in the chat saying mulching for your yard, but so we have there's some kind of fungus on the leaves on our maple tree. So like the leaves have these kind of like spots, and I guess it's kind of bad for the tree. Not like horrible, but we're not really supposed to like if they get ground up and get in the soil, then that gets in the roots and that can be bad for the tree.
Really?
Yeah. So I kind of have to, or would prefer to, but my lawnmower's got a bag, so I can still bag it.
Yeah, you can bag it because the amount of stuff that'll fall into the yard is minimal.
Yeah.
But then you got to, yeah, because see, you can't even, like, from your backyard, you can't blow them out to the front.
No.
So you got to pick them up.
Yeah.
At
the edge of the
Kim
street.
says at the edge of the street, not in the street. See, ours, they wanted them off the curb in the street. And I know as I drive through Oak Park over here, in front of the big houses where the fancy people live, they don't pick up their own leaves either. Theirs are actually in the street.
Craig has never raked
on your
before.
municipality.
I don't have to. I don't intend to. I hope not to.
I wanted to roll around in a pile today. But
there is something
you don't want to be
about that. Yeah.
I decided I decided I was just going to chop them up. I didn't have time to roll around. I have things to do. I got stuff to do.
See, now I am going to chop up the raccoon.
Topics for this show. I got to come up with hot takes. A lot going on.
I am going to chop up the raccoon. That's going to happen.
That would be great. Just grab, lure him out and hit him with a shovel.
Well, I have to. I got to have something to cook now that I cleaned out my pantry to get rid of the moths. It's all connected.
You got a grill?
I do.
Grill yourself up a little raccoon meat.
You can come over and have some. You can't have a beer.
I'll pass on that because I know if I come to your house, you're not going to give me a beer.
Yeah,
so
no.
I'm not going to come over for a raccoon dinner.
Yeah, no.
I think they say if you stew it, and this is, I'm not being funny. I think if you stew it up, it's supposed to be pretty good.
Huh?
If you make a raccoon stew.
Are an impressive broadcaster, Noonan. To have that at your fingertips or somewhere in the brain, that the raccoon bit can go into how it actually is good in stew legitimately.
Yeah, it's legit.
That's a level. Man, that was awesome.
Well, we were watching. Thank you. We were watching Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, and Debbie was like, "We got to get you out. You know so much stupid stuff.
You've won so many game shows already.
I know. I'm a glutton.
You should be on The Weakest Link, the new version of The Weakest Link.
I don't like
who hosts it.
Jane Lynch, and she's trying too hard to do a mock version of the English lady. She should just be Jane Lynch.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's very disappointing.
Ann Robinson was that woman.
Ann Robinson. Thank you. Yeah. She's doing like a faux version of that. And I think it'd be funnier if she was just being herself.
Yeah, because she's not that's not her personality.
No.
Yeah. She's Game Night in America.
Right. But I think you'd win The Weakest Link, Noonan.
Maybe.
Or you'd get voted out toward the end, because that's the silliest thing they do is in the second to last round, they kick off the smartest person.
Well, sure they do, because they're threatened.
But that's money.
I know. Well, no, here's the thing. Because it's the anti-intellectual stance of America. You're going to get rid of the smart person to spite yourself. You're going to cut off your nose to spite your financial face. Because that guy's obviously got book learning.
Yeah.
And yeah. Can't have book learning.
Isn't it a British show?
No, not anymore.
Well,
The Weakest Link. Are you aware of what we're talking about at all? What are we talking about now?
The Weakest Link started as a British show. That's what you were just saying.
Yes, and then it was here.
And then the British lady came to the United States and did the show here when it was tremendously popular years ago. Is this something you remember or not?
No. The best game show was Deal or No Deal with Howie Mandel.
All right,
that's a pretty good. That was a pretty good game show. I tried to get on that one.
We're gonna play a drinking game on the QuarantineCast now. Moving forward, when Cody is being fake, do a shot. When Cody is being authentic, do not do a shot. Most people will die. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll be dead by 8:15.
Maybe we do the reverse.
He doesn't come on at 8:20.
When Cody is being authentic, do a shot. We'll see how
we
many.
know, based on his own admission, it's only 30% of the time.
This is true.
And
you'll never know.
No, that's why my default is to trust no one and believe in no humanity, because I don't have the time or the ability to think about when somebody's being genuine and serious and when somebody's being facetious. So I just default to everybody's an ass and they're always lying, and that way, it's fine. That doesn't mean I don't like people.
No,
I like some people, a couple people, present company included.
There we go.
Put that out there just to make sure that's out there in case there's any question about it. I don't want to, I don't want an email chain coming at me later. But Cindy wants to know when I'm back on TMJ Friday night, 6 to 9. So that'll be good. No, Cindy said raccoon stew. Look it up, Cody. You might want to do that.
Later this month, I have to go back to work.
Yeah, what's the deal? What are you going to do?
I'm gonna
When does
work.
your paternity leave end?
Thanksgiving week, I go back.
Have you tried getting your wife knocked up again? Maybe extend that thing?
No.
All right.
You
Well,
can't have two
Trying to help.
September birthdays. No, because then they share or whatever, and then it's no.
And I apologize for using the term knocked up about your lovely wife.
About my wife.
Your wife. Yeah, your wife.
It's fine. She was
You're
like, after last week, she was like, well, I heard part of your conversation, but mostly I just heard you shouting my wife at random times. No.
So yeah, the audience didn't understand it either.
No one gets 90% of what I do. No, I get to be goofy on this show. I don't usually for my day job. No, I love my day job. Actually, I'm pretty excited to get back to work. But I'm mostly.
Do they still want you?
Nah, there's no way. No, dude, I have done a lot of things on paternity leave because like kids sleep a lot. But like we planted a bunch of tulip bulbs in the backyard, which some rascally squirrels dug up some of. I like constructed a podcast studio. Like I painted this, and I'm gonna like build sound traps and all that stuff. And
you keep saying bass traps, or I'm finally gonna come clean. What the hell does that mean?
Okay, so like when you're in a room, particularly in corners of a room, bass reverberates more. Just the wavelengths get trapped in the corner. So I've got a bunch of filters on my microphone to kind of just make me sound normal-ish. But theoretically, I will sound better, and it will be a less like bass overpowering sound if I have like a corner, like a triangular corner. So instead of this being a corner, it would kind of come out. And it'll have sound insulation in it. And I'll do it for the front as well, but I'll have bass traps, and you can do it for flat. You can do flat panel bass traps as well. It's just like the big acoustic panels you see on the walls, like places. So I'll have a couple acoustic panels behind me, a couple small ones in front of me, maybe one on the side. I haven't figured this out yet because like part of it's in the shot. So I'm thinking aesthetics at some point. I already have a sound panel up there. You can see it. I've got that hanging from the ceiling.
That's your pneumatic tube to send messages down to the lower level of the house, like at the bank.
Well, I'm looking up, but yeah, basically. But yeah, I got that acoustic panel I put up there. I've got my rack up there with my like soundboard is way up there. So yeah, it's quite the production, honestly.
Do you have all that stuff? Do you have bass traps, Craig?
No, I don't have acoustic panels. I've always wanted those. I did buy a bunch of soundproofing, like the foam, and I have it over here, but I was lazy about putting up more of it, so I only have a little bit of it.
Does it work?
Yeah, I think it reduces the sound.
What's funny is you both sound perfectly fine, and there's literally no reason for me to do what I'm doing. Literally no reason. I just kind of want to do it, and it'll look cool because it's going to be like different color, like a very pop out color that I won't spoil.
Yeah.
But
now,
and I've got
to pay for that, or is this something that you have to pocket yourself?
Yeah, I'm pocketing it all myself. But like I said, it's pretty. There's like $30 for all the materials because if you build it yourself, it's like not bad. Actually, wait, didn't I tell you this when I went to Lowe's last week? I got the thing on sale. I didn't drop this. No. Okay. So I got some rock wool safe and sound. It's a like a
was this the ripped open insulation that you bought?
Yeah, the ripped open insulation.
Yeah.
Marked down from $56 to $11. So like, come on, dude. Let's go.
Okay, you need to get back to work, man. You're talking about that story a week later, still that happy about it?
Yeah, that's very exciting.
He's a week late. He's like 56 to 11, man. How many times have you told the baby?
At least 4 times.
The baby's even giving him the hand. Please stop.
Pop, I've heard this.
Every time the word insulation is mentioned in the house, the baby shits and vomits.
Anytime a lot of things are mentioned in the house, that happens.
Well, it's because he's a baby. He has 2 jobs, and it sounds like he's doing them both very well.
Oh, yeah.
Well, 3 and being cute, so it sounds like he's doing that too.
He's being such a cute little baby.
Oh, my God.
So you really don't want to go back to the office?
Well, I'm not going back to the No, they announced the office is closed through March or June or something.
So you can't go back even if you wanted to.
No. And like, dude, no, come on. I'm not going to feel safe anyway. Going back, taking the metro or driving downtown Chicago, it's not efficient anyway. If everyone's been doing their job, well, okay, not everyone. A lot of people are still working. If certain people are able to do their job from home and they do it for a year or a year and a half without losing productivity, what is the point of putting them in the office? As my wife succinctly put it, it's like if you go up to your boss, it's like, you don't want to be here. I don't want to be here. We don't need to be here. So what the hell are we doing here? And that's a situation with a lot of offices. So
it's Debbie's office is that way. I don't know when they said they're coming back. Not for a while.
Mm-hmm.
You know, she's working from home. Molly's working from home.
Mm-hmm.
She actually, I think I told you she's actually coming back here for over a month.
Yeah,
I just told Craig that.
Look at his face. As Noonan says that, he's like a month.
Well, listen. We had a big thing. Because Molly thought that I wasn't excited that she was coming home. And I am excited she's coming home. But the dad rational part of me was like, you really shouldn't leave your apartment vacant for a month and a half.
Mm-hmm.
That's just bad. That just doesn't make any sense. Well, I'm going to stop the mail and I'm going to tell my neighbors and blah, blah, blah. And she has some good neighbors. They all kind of watch out for each other. But that's still a long time for your place to be empty.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you're not a snowbird going down to Florida from Cleveland. You know, you're not Stella going to get your groove back somewhere. You're coming home to live with us. And, you know, so she said, well, maybe I'll go back for a week. And I said, well, maybe I'll go back for a week. So there's a good chance I might at some point in early December go to New Orleans by myself for a week, which on paper, any other time would be fantastic. And people would be asking me if I had my life insurance in line before I did that. But now it would just be me going and sitting in Molly's apartment and, you know, going to pick food up or cooking on her tiny little electric stove. So it doesn't.
And people would still ask if you have your life insurance in order.
Probably, because they know they'd find me, you know.
Honestly, do you have your life insurance in order? I'm just curious now.
I don't even think I have life.
Okay.
You know we're not on the plan, right, Craig?
Right. No, I did not.
Yeah,
okay.
Nobody. Listen. What? Everybody going to split $100?
I'll split a hundo.
Yeah, I would split it. Sure.
Yeah, but I've got like 15, what do you call them? Beneficiaries.
Well,
everybody's getting like $8. That doesn't sound, that's not a big settlement.
No.
I don't even think that's enough to play. You're going to have to bury me with the raccoon in Cody's backyard.
Wow. Brutal. Can we put you in a stew too?
The same kind of rabies. Just put me down, hit me in the head with a shovel, bury me in a shallow hole. With the moldy leaves. Cover me with moldy leaves.
Are you saying the words to a Blink-182 song?
Sounds like it. Either that or I'm doing an E.E. Cummings poem. Yeah, that was literary.
That was well done.
Sit back and let that go.
And the jokes about Brian dying probably can be the end of the podcast, right?
Yeah. Because then we leave it joke or no, and joke or no joke.
There you go.
Maybe I'm back next week. Maybe I'm not. You know, maybe you two are sitting around a big giant cauldron of raccoon stew telling stories about me.
Sharing our $8 whatever we bought.
Yeah, everybody's got $8 to burn.
Wait, you still didn't tell me who won the election.
Nobody.
Here's the update from MSNBC. NBC News is projecting that Biden wins Wisconsin and Michigan, but overall the race remains uncertain. So, so there is no. Listen, we'll have a president by January.
Yeah, with Wisconsin and Michigan, that's 264. So Nevada would be 270 exactly, and that would be the end of it.
They also said he's for the first time ever. It looks like there's a chance at Georgia.
Well, Georgia was always tight. I think it's 40. Yeah, look at 49.7 to 49.1
because
98% reporting.
Yeah, and the ballots that were still not counted were Fulton County, so downtown Atlanta.
Yeah, they're separated by about 100,000 votes, and there's like 300,000 still out. So he would have to have an overwhelming majority, but still.
Yeah, I think it's amazing how close. It's just crazy.
How many votes did Tulsi Gabbard get?
Oh my God.
A little less than Kanye.
Why do I think that when Cody ends this, his wallpaper on his computer is just Tulsi in her running shorts?
No, just Tulsi in 2024.
Is that picture available online?
I'm sure that there's a lot of Google.
Oh, here we go.
I'm not gonna. That's gross.
Okay.
And
you're gonna Google it, you weirdo.
Not fair for 2020. Not
fair.
apropos.
Well, are we going to try to do this again next week?
Nah.
I think so.
Mm-mm.
Oh, I asked Molly why she didn't want to come on. I thought we'd bring Walter on for a little, celebration of his big win that I helped. I was like the Roger Stone of dog popularity contests. It was very exciting. But she's like, no, maybe when I'm home, I'll just bring him in and you can show him. I'm like, he's a dog. It's not like Cody's baby. If your dog's already all over social media, I'm not gonna worry about it.
I'm waiting for. I know. I'm waiting for Cody to say something.
I know.
Why? Why would you do that?
I don't know.
Why would I do what?
Most of the things I've said tonight were a mistake. So I'm done.
Are you?
No.
Really?
How long of a pregnant pause can we take in this program? Let's try to figure it out. I'm going over under 4 seconds.
Back.
Yeah, there we go.
I mean, like I am still extraordinarily sleep deprived in general.
I know.
I'm basically encumbered like I've been drinking. And you know that I stopped drinking on the podcast because of how incoherent I became. So
well, that's a mistake. See right there. You gotta be you. You do you.
Someone did tell us we should all smoke before a show.
You know. Do you do that, Craig?
I don't know. I have no idea.
Oh, okay.
I'm not sure if I do.
Craig's very secretive.
I don't think I've ever done it.
I
think.
You
It's a good talk we all had here. Yeah.
All right. Yeah, we don't want to out anybody. It's legal. So
I'm aware. I'm aware of all that stuff.
All right. It's illegal in New Jersey now, even your home state.
I know.
You go.
I know.
Pretty much we can get high. Where was it? It was somewhere out west. Was it heroin?
Arizona.
No.
Oregon. Oregon said yes to a whole bunch like fentanyl. They're like, just throw it all in there.
Yeah,
Wait, really?
Yes, Oregon voted to legalize meth, fentanyl. Another big one. There's a few out there.
Few big drugs.
Is Portland still under control by a militia?
No, it is not.
No, that stopped.
That did stop.
Here you go,
Okay.
Cody. There's Tulsi working out.
Oh, that's cool. I'm not. I'm on a list. I'm on a list for that.
Okay.
I'm definitely.
All right. Well, let's plan on being back here next week. We'll plan on it. We'll see what happens. Good luck with the raccoon. Good luck with the moths.
Thank you,
Yeah.
dude.
Both of you.
I just gotta wake up a little bit next week. No, I didn't smoke before tonight. I wouldn't do that. No, I don't really do drugs. Winners don't do drugs. Street Fighter 2 told me that in the arcades.
Dare taught me that.
Dare.
All right, Hulk Hogan, relax.
Hey, eat your vitamins. Don't forget to eat your vitamins.
Sorry, be
Also,
a real American.
sad. Can we get a press F to pay your respects for Sean Connery?
Yeah.
R.I.P. That's pretty sad.
Yeah.
But dude, 90, good run.
He had a good run. He did have a good run.
That's a good run, dude. And he's a knight. He was knighted, Sir Sean Connery, and like the James Bond. Although I was always upset that Roger Moore got better scripts. You know what I mean? Other than Goldfinger, I think that like a lot of the best Bond stories are Roger, like Man with the Golden Gun, Moonraker. Like Roger Moore got those. Those are really good stories that like teenage boys love, and I was really into that. But like Sean Connery didn't get those. You know?
That's sad.
That is sad.
But whatever.
I like Daniel Craig. Anyway,
Pierce Brosnan was pretty good. Bye. Have a good night.
Dude, he was good in
everybody. See you next
GoldenEye, the
week.
video game.
He was extra good in that.
Mhm.
But Odd Job was the secret character in that game.
Yeah, so was Jaws.
No, Jaws was terrible.
Jaws was, well, he was still a secret character.
Giant moving target. Sorry, go ahead.
horrible.
Brian, you didn't plug stuff. You always close with like a plug stuff thing.
What do you want to plug?
You want to
Are
plug?
you doing Game Life Balance?
No.
All right. Craig, do you have a new episode with Betty?
We're gonna record one tomorrow before she goes to Mexico. So yeah,
She goes to
that's coming out
Mexico?
tomorrow
Any big plans for your bachelor life?
for my
Gonna keep
2.5
it
weeks.
2.5
probably-
weeks by yourself, sleeping on Cody's backyard, and then coming over and taking a dump on my grass?
Exactly. Apparently, no. I don't think I'm doing anything. Honestly, I think it's going to be thrilling to do more nothing.
From a guy who, trust me, a guy who
Yeah.
just had a week by himself?
Nothing's great.
Nothing.
Exactly.
And you don't even have to get up to take care of the dogs or anything.
Nope. Some of us are built to quarantine. I'm one of those humans.
Yeah, this has not been bad. I've got TMJ on Friday from 6 to 9. Hope you can join me there. We'll do, I think we're doing At the Breweries again with some Wisconsin brewers. And yeah, and you can hear Cody's Florida News Open and is at the Breweries Open on the show, which is very nice. Recycling some fine production work by Cody, and yeah, that's really that's all we care about. Maybe by next Wednesday we'll know if there's a president. Maybe by next week Cody will know if it's 2020.
Yeah.
Maybe by next week Craig will stop hating us because we didn't.
Have a good night, everybody. It's been a really fun night.
All right, we'll talk to you next week.